Here's piano lesson here at LearnPianoLive.com. This is a beginner's lesson, so the assumption is you know nothing about piano. You don't know the letters, you don't know how to read music, you don't know any chords. If that's you, you're in the right place. We're starting at the very basics. So really the keys to this lesson is to ask a whole lot of questions. This is you and me, so you got to ask whatever questions you have so that I, as your teacher, can help you out and know what you need. Now, if you are an absolute beginner, you might want to check out the Absolute Beginner's Lesson Pack in the video store, because that'll kind of walk you through some of the very basics that most beginning piano students have. It's free. Just go check it out in the video store. And there's a couple other things too that I want to talk to you about before this countdown clock hits 0. All right, first and most important, ask a lot of questions. The way that you're going to do that is there's a couple different ways. You can jump in the chat room and talk with the other students who are logged in at the same time. I'll be watching the chat room too. You can ask your questions there. Or if it's a question that's just for me, a question about the lesson, especially if you know it's one that's going to fit best at the question and answer time at the end, then you can just put your name and your question in the box below this video, click submit, and then I will get that. Now, if you're already in the archives, if you're watching this not live, but you're watching this in the archives, then make sure at the end of the lesson you click on the survey button. You don't have to fill out the entire survey. If you want to, I'd love your feedback, but really the best part of that is that you can put your question in there, and then we click submit. Then I will get all of your questions. I'll make sure that you get them answered, whether you're in the archives or you're live. Right next to this video, there should be a PDF button and an MP3 button. Now, you don't really need those till after the lesson because I'm going to be showing you on screen the PDF and showing you how to use it. And I'll play the MP3 during the lesson too, so you know at the end of the lesson how you're going to use that. Some people, though, like to print out the PDF ahead of time, so as I'm making notes on my version, they can make the same notes on their version, but it works either way. All right, this is perhaps the most important part. You need to leave the lesson when you feel like you're sufficiently challenged. So, I'm teaching these lessons, 12 to 15 lessons a month. Normally in traditional lessons, you're getting like a lesson every other week or so. So this is just way too much for you to take in. So, the goal is for you to get some little nugget of something that you can really practice on, really work on. Once you feel like you have that, then you really don't need anything else from me. Go practice. That's where this stuff is really gonna happen. You're not going to get through this lesson and be able to play something really well. You're going to get through this lesson and have the information that you need to practice more effectively. That's really the goal here. So don't feel bad about taking off early. If you feel like halfway through the lesson you got as much as you can take in at that time, then go practice that thing, and then come back whenever you've got that thing down, or you're bored with it, or you just want to check out the next topic. Don't forget also that you've got the archives too. So if you want to see one little thing, just repeat it over and over and over. Just give me, hopefully within 24 hours after the lesson, this thing will be up in the archives, so you can just go back and watch it over and over and over and over and just get that little segment down. All right, today we're doing everybody's favorite topic. Out of the 8 sectors of musicianship, the one that everybody always likes the most is application. That's where you finally actually get to play a song. So if you've been here for the last couple weeks, you'll notice a lot of the same concepts popping up today, because we're going to take those concepts, we're going to apply them to a very specific song. If you haven't been here, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to play all of our little concepts. So hopefully at the end of today's lesson, you'll have all the tools to practice an actual real song that you can play for your friends and impress them. Let's go. Right, welcome back everybody. So much to go through, so little time. Let's jump in and get to this PDF here. If this is your first lesson, by the way, welcome, glad you're here. This might go a little bit fast for you, but of course, we just take it, like I said in the intro, just take that little snippet that you can. Don't worry about trying to get the whole thing. And let me also throw this up there so you can see what I'm doing there. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So this first song that you're going to be playing here, ISeeFire. I know we did this song. I couldn't believe it. A bunch of you requested, hey, let's do ISeeFire. I'm like, yeah, we just recently did that. That was like 150 lessons ago that we did this one, back on lesson 220. So almost exactly 150 lessons ago, we covered ISeeFire. I guess we can do this song again. That's fine. So This song right here has got basically these 6 chords in it. It's going to be a D flat minor, an A flat, a G flat, also known as F sharp. It's got a B flat minor in it. It's got an F minor in it, and also has an E flat minor in it. So it has all of those in there. And let's just go through these one at a time. These are groups of notes that you're going to play all together at some point during the song. So the first one, D flat minor, right here. This one is going to have a D flat in it. That's just the leftmost black note of a set of 2 black notes. So, for example, this set of 2 black notes right here, this one is a D flat because that one in the middle is a D. You don't have to know that necessarily, but just know that the one right below that is going to be a D flat. And then you're going to have this note right here, which this is ridiculous, and especially for a beginner lesson, this note right here is known as an E. When I play it here, you'll see on top of my finger it says E right there. But on this thing right here, on the tablet, it says F flat on your PDF. So this one right here is an F. If you go one note down from F, it's called an F flat, also known as an E. Kind of ridiculous, but in the same way that this note over here, this one right here could be known as G flat or F sharp. Those 2 labels for the same note are called enharmonic equivalents. In the same way that note has 2 different names, this one also has 2 different names. It can be called E or also F flat. And I know all of you several of you are already typing out, why would you call it F flat when you could just call it E? Isn't that easier? Yes, it is. And in more advanced lessons, we'll talk about why we would ever use an F flat. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the same exact thing. It's just a really confusing way of putting that, unless you know more about the D flat major scale, which, again, more advanced lessons, we'll talk about all that stuff. Right now, gotta play that note. And then this one right here is an A flat, and that's the middle note in a group of 3 black notes. If you play all 3 of those notes at the same time, that's known as a D flat minor chord. The little m is for minor, and then the lowercase b is for flat. So this is a D flat minor chord. Because we're playing more than one note at a time. D flat minor chord, and then you're just going to use that same exact logic for the rest of these chords. I'll show you a couple more here. This is an E flat minor chord. E flat minor. You're going to go to this black note right here. You're going to play this note right here, and then you're going to play this note right there. That would be an E flat minor chord. Now, the difficulty of all these chords is not actually playing the chord itself, but transitioning from one chord to the next. So if you're already working with me on this E flat minor chord, try to remember that chord that we just played a second ago and go to it right now. Do you remember what it was? D flat minor. Can you play it? Can you go back and forth between the D flat minor and the E flat minor? D flat minor, E flat minor. That is what we need to work on, is all those transitions. The chords themselves aren't necessarily that difficult. You can find them, but trying to remember them and then trying to switch from one to the other, from one to the other, like you're going to need to do in the intermediate lesson, or when we go to play the chords here, then that's going to be a lot more difficult. So anyway, work on those transitions there. I'll give you one more chord here. This F minor, it's going to start on an F, and then it's going to be an A flat. For those of you who are wondering where you're supposed to start these things, which F are you supposed to use, which E flat are you supposed to use, it doesn't matter at all. Any F will do, and then you're just going to play the A flat that's perhaps above that one, and then the C that's above that. The truth is, any F and any A flat and any C would work for the F minor chord. So it wouldn't have to necessarily be that F and that A flat and that C. It could be F and A flat and C. You could put C down there. But this is the most compact way to play all the notes, where all the notes are closest together. It's called root position. It's where you put the name of the chord at the bottom on the left. So F, A flat, C is an F minor chord. F because it starts on an F, and minor because it sounds dark, scary, depressed, all that stuff is the minor feel. So you have all those chords to mess with. And then over here, this is where we're going to kind of change gears. This is not chords. So if that was interesting to you and you want to practice those chords, transitioning between those chords, then fantastic. You're well on your way. You could join us. If you can get some of those chords down, join us for tomorrow's lesson, the intermediate lesson, where we actually play through it with the track. But for those of you who just want to play the part that gets sung, then you're going to be one to look at this thing right here. Actually, the bottom of the page, usually I put it on page 3, but there were so many words for this song that I had to stick this on page 2. So right here we have, there we go, the key of D flat. So the key of D flat has this as the most important note. This is number 1. That's going to be 1, and then 2, and then 3. 4, 5, 6 are the next 3 black notes. So 1 and 2 are these guys right here. We had 3 as this black or this white note. Watch out that you don't play this white note right here. You're gonna play that one. Those 3 black notes right there. 7 is gonna be right here, and then we're back to 1 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. And just getting really familiar with those notes being able to go up and down, maybe even skipping around. And then I'm just making stuff up now. But just being really familiar with the scale so you don't have to even necessarily look at it in order to be able to get those notes and to play them. That's the familiarity you want with the key of D flat. So this is 1/12 of all of the keys that you'll need to play pretty much from here until forever. So this should take a little bit of time. If you've never practiced any scales or keys or anything before, then that right there is just becoming really familiar with that pattern. So you can go up and down and skip around in it and not hit any wrong notes. And as you can see, I'm also going more than just 1 octave here. So in other words, this 1 is the same as this 1. So that whole entire pattern repeats over again. In other words, this is 2 right here. And this is 7 right here. So this pattern just continues throughout the entire piano so that anywhere on the piano, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then down here, 1. So you've got the whole range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7s that all repeat. Now, if you've already done that, again, that might be enough for one day. That might be more than enough for one day. That might be overwhelming for one day. So just, practicing maybe in 1 octave. So you just from a number 1 to a number 1 and then back down again. Just getting used to that. Like I said, that's 1/12 of the work that you're going to have to do for all the scales from here until almost forever. So anyway, there's that. And then the melody in the numbers is just going to be playing, using those numbers to play the melody. So if this is to end is 1, 1, 1, 3, 3. If this is to end in fire, 1, 2. There you go. If this is to end in fire. We'll just go like that. So anyway, the rest of those numbers are all there. I'm going to give you the rest of these numbers actually right down here. I gave you this set right here and this set right here. And then some of you I know like to have the words so you can guess at the numbers and stuff. So I left you this section down there so you can try adding in those numbers if you want. If you come back for tomorrow or the advanced lesson, you don't even have to show up to the lesson. Just go to the archives, download the PDF, and then it'll have all the answers in there so you can test yourself on that. Or if you just want to cheat and pull down the PDF after tomorrow or Wednesday, then you can do that too, and you'll have all of those. So that's how you would use that if you already know how the song goes and you want to start playing the melody. Get really familiar with the key of D flat. Once you're familiar with the key of D flat, then you're going to start saying these words and playing these numbers. Then we should all burn together. And sometimes the numbers are going to go up, sometimes the numbers are going to go down. You're going to have to use your ear for that. And again, this might feel overwhelming, so if I've already surpassed the level that you're at, then just go work on your thing. It'll be very good work to do, and eventually you show up to enough of these things and you'll already have the skills behind you to jump into that next thing. But hopefully you've got some kind of assignment already that you can go work on. You know what you can do. So then this would be, this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. So in that case, the 1, 1, 6 goes down. Watch the flames climb high into the night. Would be 7, 7, 6, 6 into the night. So sometimes the numbers go up, sometimes the numbers go down. Let me play it the other way for you. If you already know the song, this is going to sound wrong to you, hopefully. If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn. So at the end, it sounded really out of place, like I just jumped way up when you were expecting. They're both number 6s, but the other one feels super, super weird. So anyway, you've got all of that stuff there, and let's go ahead and move on to the last page here. If you're still with me, then congratulations, you have made it through quite a lot, and you're probably actually already at a intermediate or advanced level. But this is just putting the chords on top of the words. This is like what you'd get from like ultimateguitar.com or whatever, except these chords are right. That sounded really, I didn't mean it to. Those all on ultimateguitar.com, which I use all the time. Great site. They are usually about, 80% right or so because they're crowdsourced. And so a lot of people who are still working on their transcribing skills are posting stuff there and getting it mostly right. And good for them. But these are going to be the correct chords for you. So anyway, that's that. If you've experienced ultimateguitar.com before, or you just want to, you already know the chords and you just want to know where they go, then that's what that lead sheet is for. So I believe that it's time already to do our feature of the day, and then we'll do our wrap up. Our feature is going to be actually major and minor. So this is what we're going to be working on next week. We talked a little bit about it here earlier on in the lesson. If you can hear the difference between this, hopefully that sounded kind of happy and kind of, yeah, we'll go with happy. And then this one here, and there's all kinds of descriptions that go with this one. There's frequently sad, depressing, Egyptian, scary, haunting, or they all kind of have like that quality. Hopefully one of those descriptors made sense to you. That's the difference between major and minor. The major is the happier one. The minor is the sadder, scarier, depressed or one of them. And so we're going to be talking about how you can use that in your playing and how you can recognize the difference by just listening to it. So anyway, that's what that is going to be next week. For right now, let's do our wrap up of this lesson. Quite a bit. These are all the chords in order. So B flat minor, D flat, A flat, G flat, and this is this is actually what your track is playing. So when we go here, this is the downloaded track. Flat, flat. So this is like what Ed Sheeran would play along with, or would sing along with. So it's just the band playing through the song without the melody. You could play the melody along with it. Here, if we go to this one. This is to end in fire. Together. Watch the fire. Stand by and we will watch the flames burn now inside. So anyway, that's kind of how you would use that, is you could play that melody along with it. It is at 76 beats per per minute. So if you have a metronome and you want to practice something slower than that, take your metronome down to maybe like 60 or 55, and then slowly work your way up to 76. When you get there, then you are ready for that track. We talked about the chords and how to find the notes of the chords and how you just play them all together. You don't have to play the notes in the order that are listed here, but if you do, it's going to be more compact and probably easier to play because all the notes will be a little bit closer to each other. We talked about the key of D flat and how it starts on a 1 and how it ends on a 1, and that 1 is going to be the note D flat, which is the leftmost note of a group of 2 black notes. And then we talked about how to play through the melody using those numbers and how sometimes the numbers go up and sometimes they go down, how you have to use your ear to decide which one it's going to be. Hopefully one of them is going to sound super wrong and the other one's going to sound either acceptable or totally right. And then the last part is just the lead sheet, which is kind of the lowest common denominator. It's probably the easiest to use in that you can just, if you know the song, that is. If you don't know the song, it's almost useless. But if you already know the song, then and you can sing through it, then you can just put the chord, if you already know how to play the chord, down during the time that you're saying that word. So right on end, you'd play a B flat minor. Right when you say fire, you play a G flat, etc., etc. So anyway, that's all of that stuff, and it's time to get to your questions, and hopefully I'll have some answers for you. So we have nothing in the public chat. The private chat looks like, I don't know, I could call it private chat. It's just your private questions. Is the Clopple Academy Level 2 revision done? I don't know which revision you're talking about. All the Clopple Academy levels should have a revision, but we're constantly improving them. So if you were waiting on one, and I didn't know that, then let me know that you need whatever the current one is. Whatever your last link I gave you was, unless I emailed it to you directly, which I'm trying to discipline myself not to do because of situations like this. If I gave you a link for them, then when I update the syllabus, then you should that link should go to the new one and not go back to the old one. If I emailed it to you privately, shame on me. I should never ever do that. I should always just send you the link and let me know, and I will give you the link for the new one. Are there other scales for this song? Technically, yeah. You could use a B flat natural minor scale, which is, if you're asking this question, I assume that you already understand the concept of relatives and know that B flat minor and D flat major are relatives. They have the exact same notes in them. So you're not going to play different notes, but you could count B flat as number 1 and play the D flat major scale, starting and ending on B flat. And that would be the B flat natural minor scale. And it looks like that's the last question. So those would be the only 2 scales that I would use for this song. And I think that's it. So till next time, you know I love you. Good luck and have fun.